All right, getting a history from a client who openly bashed her husband and then generalizing that all men are useless and that her husband was dumb as a sack of rocks.
Amen.
That sounds like a really bad relationship. Even rocks deserve to be spoken about nicely.
There are no vegetables in Africa. I did not know that.
There are no vegetables in Africa? I don't even remember that.
I think that's a reference to the first year lecture where they talked about meat, where they got into that argument.
Does anyone remember that?
No idea what they were talking about.
Okay. When I was a first year, I was shadowing neuro. I tripped on that large mat and face planted in front of everyone. Afterwards, I was lame on the right hind.
I'm very clumsy, so I can totally relate to that.
I tripped so often as a child that they thought there was a neurologic problem with me. There wasn't. My feet were just too big for the rest of my body.
Didn't put the lid on the centrifuge. Won't make that mistake again. Or every single time.
I did that too, and it was specifically after Nicole told me to put the lid on the centrifuge.
We've all done that, I feel like.
Yeah, we've all been there, I think.
I don't think I ever saw anything actually happening like that, but I have been terrified of doing that for the entire year, so. I am a small animal student. The very first time I did a rectal on a cow, she contracted her anal sphincter at the level of my wrist. I couldn't move my wrist and was stuck in the cow for about 60 seconds. Yeah, that pretty much happened to me too. I can imagine actually like breaking your arm in a cow rectum. That would be like the worst story ever. Thankfully, I don't think it happened to any one of us.
I actually, on Therio, just palpated both Salty and Romy in the same day, and I actually burst a bunch of blood vessels in my left arm, and they're still there.
You know, somewhere out there, there's a small animal student with his hand stuck up some animal's rectum thinking, I chose this life.
Oh my, sex in a tutor room.
Sex in a tutor room? What does that mean? Like, you did it, someone else did it?
So that's what happens when the paper towels are on the windows.
I hope you sanitized afterwards. That's gross.
The water is actually very heavy in the vet school. Hashtag Wyland, hashtag Block 2.
I don't really know what that means, but I always associate the phrase anal pumping with Wyland.
Also the privacy panels, if anyone remembers that.
The modesty panels.
The modesty panels, yes, the modesty panels.
Finally getting the chance to call a client back to check in at the end of the day, and they ask if I live at the hospital.
Yes, we all did.
Also, when I would forget to call them, and I'd go home, and then it was like 8:30, and I was like, well, I guess I should probably call that owner real quick. And they always answered, which I was really impressed by.
That awkward moment when you try to reconstitute cefazolin, and it ends up squirting everywhere, so you track down paper towels and wipe it up, but you still find white crusty powder on your scrub, bone, and nails.
Are we sure it's a Vaseline? So like I had a similar experience, I guess. A couple weeks ago, we had finished collecting a stallion, and I guess Maria was, waving around the AI pipette, and she went, "Oh, sorry, I got semen on your pants." I still can't name most of the joints on a horse. Me neither. Not good for me.
I still don't know the name. And I got grilled on it in large animal too.
Bog spavin? Something like that? Yeah. No idea.
As a disclaimer, this really was not me.
I once farted in wet lab. It was a silent but deadly fart, and blame the smell on the cadavers. Hashtag sorry not sorry. Okay.
I'd have done the same if it were me, frankly.
My friend's stethoscope fell off her neck and into cow manure.
Nothing has to fall off of you to get cow manure. You can just exist near cows and you'll be covered in cow manure.
It is still probably cleaner than some stethoscopes.
I think I know who this is. I'm not gonna sell you out though, but that's not fun.
The awkward boot washing dance where you can never keep your balance and always miss a spot.
Yes. I am incredibly clumsy, as previously mentioned, so I pretty much just have to look for something to lean on in order to clean my boots. I'm so glad I never have to do that again.
I called a client about an egg-bound parakeet, and I asked him whether the parakeet was male or female. That's a good one. Wow.
And I asked him whether the parakeet was male or female. Poor kid. Good on ya.
That was mine, actually.
What was that?
That was mine.
How'd you come back from that? I'm very curious.
I definitely had awkward moments. I did do exotics and I knew nothing about exotics.
I once had a client call about sugar glider, and the sugar glider was apparently eviscerated and eating its intestines. And after a quick Google search, I had to explain to the owner that the sugar glider was actually just masturbating.